I'm making rich, bitch, I can buy this bitch. Mango-licious, bitch. I'm not good at rolling blunts at all. I might just be rolling up some weed, like, during this. What's up, Jorge? I might just be rolling up, I don't know. I want to, you know what I mean? Save time. I'm gonna just be rolling up a couple blunts, like, during this. I'm gonna try not to get too distracted or whatever, but it's weed, bro. It's hard not to. Got some of this Mango-licious, bro. Shout out to Khalifa in Portland for this, man. For real, bro. This is... I feel like when we're younger, obviously a lot of the time, we're all going to be kind of consumers. Not necessarily through us, but a lot of our parents and all that kind of shit. We get into stuff when we're younger, obviously not knowing what it is. You know what I mean? Not necessarily the history, whatever, blah, blah, blah behind it. And one thing I always kind of had like a gripe with, man, magazines, bro. I was never really like... Magazines, I'm hoping people relate to me during this shit, but like I don't think I ever was really into magazines. I don't know, something about them. I think for me they were just something to like look at, like almost like a comic book, I guess, in a way. Not like, because on comic books I feel like are simpler to read, they're easier to, the concept of a comic book is easier to grasp. And magazines, I feel like they kind of try and play the same premise or whatever, but like magazines to me are just like something to gawk at, bro. Magazines aren't necessarily anything to like, I feel like, go through. I feel like anyone who has, at least nowadays, anyone who really has a magazine or anything like that, it's either like something special in it or like they're in it, or you know, something to like that, you know, it has a special meaning to them. Who really has a fucking I don't know, if someone has like a home decor like magazine subscription nowadays, man, I'd be kind of worried, to be honest, bro. Just look up tiny home tours on YouTube or some shit, you know what I mean, bro? But magazines, man, they were always just for me to something to gawk at, bro. You know what I mean? And I had like a couple of different like magazine subscriptions back in the day. I had a Lowrider one. I had like a Nickelodeon one for a bit. You know what I mean? I had like, and I have this one I'm about to talk about. Zoobooks. I don't know if people remember Zoobooks like that.
The captivating, colorful pages of Zoobooks. The publication is specially created for young readers.
Zoobooks were a magazine subscription that, you know what I mean, you pay a certain fee. I believe it was like $100 or some shit for the year, and you get 12 or 13 editions of magazine that was about, you know what I mean, wildlife and different wild and domestic animals. This magazine series kind of teaches, you know what I mean, people just random facts and just information, I guess, about just different animal species, you know what I mean, whatever, you know what I mean, about different kind of animals. Assuming that this is a personal thing at the end of the day too, you know what I mean, I don't have the biggest attention span when it comes to like a lot of things, especially when a lot of things I don't like, and I don't like a lot of things, you know. So I'm not gonna want to pay attention to a lot of this shit because a lot of the time I just don't give a fuck. You know, Zoobooks obviously were targeted for kids. You know what I mean? I don't assume, maybe teenagers. Maybe if a teenager was like super into zoology or wanted to be a zoologist or just, you know, was really into whatever animal they're talking about, they probably got Zoobooks. But then again, like I said, a person would have to be into animals in general in order to do this. You know what I mean? Like I said before, if they're only into like one animal or one certain type of thing or one certain type of animal or some shit, they're only buying a certain kind. They're not gonna want to waste their money or go out and get a whole bunch of different kinds on just other shit. And then again, maybe I just didn't like anything. I still don't like anything like as an adult. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But fucking, I didn't really like anything as a kid, I guess. You know what I mean? I just kind of faked everything. This magazine subscription was obviously supposed to teach people whatever. But personally, like, as a kid, you know what I mean? As a kid, the one thing I related magazines towards most was, like, waiting in a doctor's office or waiting in, like, the grocery store line. You know what I mean? It's like a thing to kind of gawk at for a second. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily want to go into a magazine reading, just, like, going through every fucking thing in the magazine. Heike, who wants that? Like even in the doctor's office, bro, the kids with the highlights magazines, bro, I don't think anyone read it for that. And if they did go through that, it was only for the puzzles, okay, because there was nothing to do. It's just kind of what I related to it as a kid, you know what I mean? It was just something to gawk at for a second for whatever like little amount that I was waiting for, you know what I mean? It's like passing by time, you know? It's like throwaway almost, you know what I mean? And I feel like we take that shit for granted, but that's like another story. That's just what I related magazines to overall, you know what I mean? Magazines as a category of reading, whatever it's called. You know? I'm hoping kids were like me back then, you know what I mean? Hopefully, you know what I mean? Obviously, people are different and shit, but, you know what I mean? But fucking, bro, my bad, I'm high. Yo, this weed crazy. I don't really remember reading anything in magazines, you know what I mean? Like, Highlights was like the biggest kid magazine or whatever that probably you see back in the day. But look at them now, bro. Hikey, they ain't shit. Okay, bro. Everybody got tablets and shit. Highlights have probably got like a program or something online, bro. No one's reading. The company's trying to keep up with the times, bro. You know what I mean? Highlights was kind of ass magazine, bro. I don't understand what they had anything other than just like puzzles and like just like match the whatever to the whatever kind of things that the activities they had in the magazines. But fuck, I'm just getting into a different kind of. But zoobooks is of its time, obviously. You know what I mean? It was a company that came out and was like, "Hey, bro, we could try and make a profit on this." There's kids, you know what I mean? Magazine subscriptions are becoming popular. You know what I mean? Everybody's a consumer or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Everybody's a consumer. So magazine subscriptions were rather popular at the time, and this company was like, "Hey, so we're just gonna put out facts about animals and trying to make, we're just gonna put out facts on animals and try and put it on a different kind of piece of paper and try and sell it to kids." You know what I mean? And obviously, you know what I mean? Obviously, kids kind of went for it. I went for it for a bit. You know what I mean? I get it. I was in orangutans back then. You know what I mean? I was never no horse chick, but fuck. Where was I at? But they try to fucking, feed this to us, this idea, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And when you got to the subscription, it honestly wasn't that bad. It was like a hard-covered zoobook. At least back when I was like ordering them, like when I was in like elementary school and shit, and I saw like zoobooks in the library. They were like, the paper covered, like the old school ones. You know what I mean? They just had like the little colored brim around it. They didn't really have anything too special. But zoobooks were coming up for a bit, and I think they reached like peak popularity when I was like younger. So like probably like 2004, 2005, like the early 2000s. You know what I mean? And fucking, whoa, it wasn't it, bro. It just wasn't. I was not into zoobooks. I just wasn't having it. And the way I guess I kind of look at zoobooks, bro, nowadays, is the way I kind of look at calendars, bro. It's like novelty at that point, bro. It's like if you're gonna have one, it's obviously for a certain purpose or for like a certain thing. You're not just having a fucking calendar because it's pointless. You're not gonna use it or like a memento at a certain time in your life. Just like kind of like looking back at what I was like into nowadays. I feel like I hated myself as a kid, bro. That's why I hate kids now. But yeah, they just seem kind of pointless, man. And I just wasn't I'm just not super into the idea. One thing I found out. So I'm assuming, because just like any company, zoobooks, it didn't just like reach peak popularity or whatever just overnight. Obviously, they had to take a little bit to take the company going to, for it to get the ball rolling for the company. And I'm assuming its peak popularity is probably when I was a kid, when like it has a good 10-year span, because the company's still going. I looked it up. It's just not super heavy into the magazine subscription game. Like, it's not putting all its money into that. Obviously, it's putting a lot more money into just like its online website. It's just all other amenities kind of like that. So if the company took them a bit to take that long to get popularity, I'm gonna say about 6 years. Just estimating, you know what I mean? I don't know. I didn't do too much research. I'm just going off what I know now and the little bit of research I just did prior to this. I probably need to put more work in. I got 5 jobs, bro, okay? And I got 13 kids I gotta feed. Nah, but they started in 1980. Okay, that was the year they started. And it took them that long, okay? So I'm assuming, I'm just gonna say, just from what I know about magazines and that kind of stuff, they obviously had to get all the research and all that kind of shit from outside sources. I know for a fact, I don't remember anything cited, anything like that. You know what I mean? Everything was just cited, I guess, to their website, Zoobook. It seemed pointless as fuck for me, man. At least now, okay? Obviously, you know what I mean? Back then, you're just like, oh my god, there's like animals and there's like pictures and there's like, oh, there's numbers and just like, I'm just a consumer back then. But the way I kind of look at that is like it's like a lottery machine, bro. If you just get past like all the brightness and the colors and the loudness of it, like, it's just info about fucking animals, bro. And thinking back then, bro, it was 1980. I understand it was tough, but you could go you can go to a library or some shit, and go to a computer or something, and look that shit up yourself. bro. I didn't get. If you get past that, bro, it's just information about fucking animals, bro. Like anyone back in the day could just look that up in a thesaurus. Thesaurus. I don't know, bro, dude. I just feel like I wasted my money, or had my parents waste my money on something stupid. You know what I mean? That's why I kind of get when like kids like want stupid shit. I'm like, bro, that doesn't do anything, man. That didn't do anything for you, bro. What are you doing? Even then, you could have just looked that shit up in a thesaurus, you know what I mean? It could have made it easier for you. And people back then obviously wanted to disguise shit, you know what I mean? Trying to make learning fun, and this was like that era or whatever. I think it was like the same, like Dare era type shit, you know what I mean? Like they wanted to make learning fun, you know what I mean? Like they wanted kids really involved, you know? And it's just, no, bro. Okay, bro. I just want to learn the info I need to learn and get the fuck out. I don't care, Heike, about any of this. And obviously, peak popularity didn't reach until like later back then, and like later on in the years, bro. One thing I looked 1988 is when Google came out, bro. Google, you know what I mean, the website that you could just look up anything and anything will pop up at that time. It came out in 1988. So and I was born that year, so. I was born in 1988, and Google came out in 1988. I'm just hating on it, I guess, okay? If you like it, you like it, I guess, but I'm just hating on the shit, okay, bro? Like, people, like, you take it seriously if you want. At the end of the day, I don't care. I just don't like it. This is, like, one of the reasons I hate kids, bro, you know what I mean? And I very much sympathize with my mom, you know what I mean? Having her, like, I guess, like, all the stupid shit I did, you know what I mean? Kind of doing the shit I put her through, whatever, you know? Like, bruh, I was worried about the wrong things, bro. My mom was like, how are we gonna worry about zoobooks? We can't get a house. You know what I mean? So, I feel that, bro. Zoobooks, man. Just, like, look that shit up in a thesaurus, weirdo. You know what I mean? If you care that much. I guess the way I'm, like, kind of attacking this is the way my mom, I guess, would, like, attack this back in the day. Or just another, just, like, a begrudging parent that's just kind of upset and just done with life in a way. Not done with life, but, like, just tired of all of society's bullshit, you know what I mean, type shit. Google was out then, bro, and I could have looked all that shit up if I wanted to, bro. But for some reason, I felt like I needed this fucking these flimsy ass pieces of paper in my face in order for me to like really learn, bro. I don't get it. I mean, I get it, no, but like obviously it was just a consumer back then, man. And I'm just hating on zoobooks right now, bro. Nah, zoobooks aren't worth it. Magazines aren't worth it, really. Okay, just like fucking like just like. Just like look it up, high key, bro. Obviously, the internet is one of the reasons magazines died and shit, bro. Just look that shit up on the internet. You only really like the zoobooks because the animals and shit, and only really like the reptile ones, bro. And the only other one I liked was the doggy edition because it said ass all over it, and I was young, so I was like, haha, it said ass, bro. Yeah, I don't like zoobooks now. That's just my take. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. Jorge, I appreciate you. Let's smoke a blunt together. I don't know. I appreciate you hitting me up. Like, subscribe, comment. I mean, I appreciate any feedback or anything like that. You know what I mean? That comes from this video or anything. So I appreciate it. Yeah, bro. My last pack got backwards before the taxes of backwoods went up in Oregon. I just bought me like 6-7 packs, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna smoke all of this. All right, in a week. Working on it. Jorge. Flag, zoobooks, weed, later.